Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
All right, everybody, welcome into A Real and a Beer. It is a discussion video time. We are very excited to do this one. This is one that we've been meaning to do. Now that we got the cast and crew together to do this video, we're going to do it. It's basically going to be a video on what we've seen from the MCU to this point, what we think is going to happen going forward, what we know is going to happen going forward, and our opinions on both. So I didn't want to do this video with one or two of us, and I actually brought in all of us, minus Xavier and Jay, but I did bring in my man Pepper Brooks. Pep, introduce yourself on Instagram.
Pepper Brooks. I got an Instagram page too. It's I do music, Pepper Brooks Music. I've also got a photography page at Premier One Photography. So check me out. Appreciate all the follows and all the likes.
Beautiful, and it is Pepper Brooks, just like on Dodgeball. So
just like dodgeball.
Yeah, if you've ever seen
a
it.
little cuter.
Right.
I know Bateman's pretty nice.
So here we go. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to lead off talking about what we've seen to this point. Obviously, Endgame being the last, but let's go ahead and tail in that with what we've seen so far in the trailer from Far From Home with Spider-Man. Endgame, literally all of us, as a whole, was a little disappointed. Josh liked it more than most.
These guys.
I was number 2 on that.
John,
Just jacked up about
I'm
it.
just saying, as all of us in the group,
We all scored it below average wise.
what we thought.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Far From Home is going to be a huge blanket that they throw on top of the time loops that we've seen in Endgame that they could not explain, that they're actually on tour right now explaining. That's me personally. But what I'm going to do right now, we're going to go about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes each. We're going to talk about what we've seen to this point. It's hard to talk about 20 whatever movies in 11 years. But Peebs, I'm going to let you lead off. Peebs, to this point, MCU, have they delivered to your expectations? Not just counting Endgame, I'm talking about as a whole. To this point, have they delivered, and do you feel satisfied with what you've seen to this point?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been, hits and misses, but what can you expect out of 20, 30 some odd movies? I mean, 22, whatever. But I mean, they've had misses. They've had movies that just have felt like filler. They've had movies that are just huge surprises. They've had movies that they got too ambitious with and just fell apart. I don't know, as a whole, I would say very satisfied, very disappointed in the way that they decided to end everything. They kind of just, they fell flat. It's a very flat ending to 11 years of our lives waiting to see how it ended. Overall, I would give them a passing grade on everything. I feel like they live up to expectations. You can watch most of the movies and be entertained. But like I said, they fell flat, and there are definitely misses. And I think I would rate a lot of movies differently than most people.
The reason we're starting with Peebs is usually our hardest critic. That's why I want to get his honest opinion. About 30 more seconds. Let me hear what you got.
I would, rate a lot of movies differently than most people. Like, I didn't like Black Panther. I thought it was absolute dog shit.
Thank you, sir.
Endgame, absolute dog shit. Ant-Man and Wasp,
I'm
absolute
sorry to
dog
educate
shit.
you on movies, man.
Captain Marvel. I mean, it's lower than dog shit. I don't even think a dog would eat it.
10 seconds, man.
And probably besides Black Panther, the one that people argue with me most on for not liking Civil War, absolute dog shit. So those are what I rank dog shit. And like I said, Captain Marvel is below dog shit. The rest, passing grade.
All right, now, reason we want to talk to Peebs first, he's the most honest, the hardest critic of us all. Now, Josh, I want to ask you a different set of questions. My questions I want to ask you is, how has the MCU brought these characters that we've all known, loved, and grown up with watching, how have they brought them to life, in your opinion, on the big screen? Something that we've never seen before to this extent.
For me, the character development was phenomenal. They did an amazing job introducing Iron Man in the first one.
Yes.
So you had Iron Man that had 3 independents. You had Captain America who had 3. Thor had 3. And then everyone else is kind of, they're either getting theirs or they're peppered in there somewhere. So
No pun intended.
No pun.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
if you look at, for me, now, I love Thor, that's my man.
Yeah.
But without a doubt, the best 3 films is Captain America. You've got the first Avenger, Winter Soldier, Civil War. All of them are great movies. But if you look at where Tony Stark starts out and where he ends up, great development, great arc. Look at
Iron Man's basically the same story. Captain America builds to the next stage.
Oh yeah.
You got to take basic Captain America, you get Captain America's story. Winter Soldier builds the next stage. Civil War takes us to another level.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about from a personal level. If you look at what Tony started out as, everything that he went through changed him. And we look at someone who viewed himself as a genius playboy billionaire philanthropist, who Captain Rogers himself said is not the guy that made the sacrifice play, who ended up making the sacrifice play.
Yeah.
So
Real good point.
they brought him, and then you look at Thor. Our very first view of Thor is him walking through the halls, getting praised, and that's what he lived for, was getting praised.
His arrogance.
He even said it, I called the war in my youth, to being a guy who absolutely hated it and tried to avoid it. And then you've got, obviously, Captain America. What's good becomes great. And you see, Steve Rogers has been a stand-up guy, a guy that you would want your daughter to date, who I feel like I would be best friends with, even before the serum, and even more so after the serum. But those were the main 3 of these first 3 phases, and I thought they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
It's kind of, okay, just one point real quick. With DC, DC has a real bad problem about they're swinging for the fences with every film.
Holy shit.
Now, they did hit a home run with The Dark Knight and Heath Ledger, but if you look at X-Men, after every X-Men movie, it's like there's no continuity. They throw everything out. We'll just start over with the next one. But this is something that we've never experienced, is 22 movies where the continuity was somewhat decent. Now, I know there's holes in it, especially before Endgame, there was no holes.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is going to be to Pepper. Pepper, I know you're a long-time Marvel fan with the comics, grew up on the comics, know the characters inside out. I want you to tell me something that you think Marvel has done, improved on with these movies from the comic books. Maybe a character, a movie, something that you think, you know what, they actually did it a little bit better on the screen rather than
In all
comic.
honesty, I think in broad perspective, I think with every character they were just a tad edgier than they were in the comics. The comics, you think most of these comics were started in 50s and 60s and 70s, where you couldn't say damn and shit, and you couldn't say that kind of thing in a comic book. It wasn't like Image Comics when they come out and there was blood and guts and gore.
Yeah.
So all your characters were somewhat politically correct. I mean, there was countless issues that they come out during, Kennedy's assassination. They're talking about politics in these comic books, where the movies are strictly just a movie, telling a story about the characters. So I think on one aspect, they really got the characters themselves to a little bit edgier, more of a human. More of a realistic side. Yeah, I mean, even
As
Hulk,
much as Disney could do.
even Hulk, as big as he is and as strong as he is in the universe, I mean, you think about it in the comic books, no one could beat him.
No.
I mean, in the comic books, he stood toe to toe with Thanos. First fight they get into, Thanos whoops his ass.
Yeah.
And then Hulk's like, I can't do this no more. You know, it's like I ain't the baddest person in the world. So in the comics now, Hulk was like one-on-one with
pissed off.
You know, it was more pissed off, got more mad, got angry. That's the one thing that I really miss from the original Hulk movie, even though it was crappy CGI. The story I thought was pretty good because the more pissed off he got,
That's realistic.
the bigger and stronger he got.
Which is realistic.
Which is realistic to the comic book. You know, so in that aspect, they really had Hulk down in that movie. Of course, you fast forward that writer, that director, 10 years into the future, that Hulk would have kicked ass.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Hulk would have been
course.
bad.
He would have been the baddest. He would have been the
I
number
mean-
one. He would have been the ace in the hole. In the
Yeah,
class.
absolutely.
And I think that's what we all kind of wanted to see.
Yeah, and I want,
Especially
and,
at the end.
and for me, the biggest hole that I have in all of it, I know you're asking for positives, but this is the only negative I really got. I've always been a Hulk fan. And the further he got into the MCU, the weaker he got.
I agree with that 100%.
And I'm like, you can't take a character who is known for the last 70 years in comics as being like the strongest, most powerful, hardest person to contain and turn him into
I think.
A big talking nerd.
yeah, a
passive.
puppy. I mean, a passive puppy. I mean,
Yeah.
Professor Hulk was
Pushover.
invented in the comics just to appease the liberals and the people who want a more non-aggressive version. That ain't who he is.
Big D said it best. Even Professor Hulk flew up to an asteroid that was about to destroy Earth and punched it in half.
Yeah, I mean, the
That was
thing is,
twice
like,
the size of Earth.
you never seen that kind of power from the Hulk.
Dude, he punched a taxi cab and threw a scooter.
Yeah, you know, in Endgame. So like, you know, the first that they ever saw in the MCU of Hulk's power probably is where he punches the big Chitauri dragon that's like floating and he stops him.
Oh yeah, just kind of like
Yeah, when
you know,
one punch
in
like boom,
space,
you
jerking
stop.
him
I
down.
stay here.
That
You know,
smashing
that's
Loki like
oh
he did.
my
Yeah,
God.
now-
He goes
Yeah,
in that
that's
smashing
I'm
that
like
stone.
hanging on to you,
Yeah,
and I'm
now
like
I'm
using
like,
gravity.
smashing Loki,
I'm
yeah,
like
I mean,
forcing
but-
gravity
I mean,
with
it was
you down.
funny,
I
but
mean,
that
that's
just shows his
badass.
pure
But he's talking about pure strength.
Come
Yeah.
on, pure strength. You know, he hits that thing, and he moves
It
like
just stops it in his
his
tracks.
feet just kind of move, and just like it crumples up. I
Yeah.
mean, kind of reminded me of the scene in. Not, you know, even though it's technically Marvel, but in the first Fantastic Four, where Thing stops in the road and the truck hits
Yep.
him. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, and Thing was like 1/10 the power. of
Stop
Hulk.
and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
truck flips over. So like, but I think they did get all the characters good. They picked good people. Mm-hmm.
I think their casting is-
their casting
Yeah.
was great,
Hands down flawless.
Yeah.
Probably in
Cumberbatch may be the best of all of them.
in my
Yeah,
honest opinion,
perfect.
I think probably
Seriously.
him
Yes.
and Josh Brolin as Thanos, top two. hands
Probably.
down.
I know Evans is up there in
Absolutely.
my opinion, man.
Second level on that, it's probably got to be Evans and Robert Downey Jr.
All right, now,
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
You were talking about the edgier, grittier side of it. Do y'all remember? And for me, this was a defining moment. When Cap lands on the Lemurian star, and we see him with some of those kill shots. Y'all remember that? Where he literally kicked the guy over the boat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what they're doing,
Oh, yeah.
it was his. It was showing him for the first time after he had come back and realizing that in order to sneak on a ship, you cannot have people yelling. So every shot had to be a
it
kill
had to be a
shot.
kill shot. Yeah.
I got a point to make. What they went for with the movies to me felt more like the ultimate versions of the characters.
I agree.
If anyone ever read the Ultimate
I
comics, it felt like that.
Except for Hulk.
Yeah, except
Except
for
for
Hulk. I
But
say
you know,
except for Hulk.
on
Honestly,
Pete's
even
point-
except for Ant-Man. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Ant-Man, but he does have a plan.
He's pretty
But,
badass.
I mean, I love he's to me, he's a sidekick. I mean,
He kind of.
he had his own-
This Ant-Man is.
But in Endgame, though,
This
him
one
and
is,
Rocket
you're
was the
absolutely
MVP.
But you know,
Yeah, I mean, that
to
works
Pete's
for-
point though, they were trying to get to that to everybody, and they powered them up for certain movies. But I think they waited, and this is me being a Cat fan, but just being honest, they waited to the bottom of the night to show what he really could do.
Right.
I mean, they showed his leadership skills, but from a power aspect, they waited to the bottom of the night to show what he really can do.
So
Yeah, the sad
one
part about it
thing
is only Captain America.
Well, no,
Only
no,
Captain
actually,
America,
I'm not-
you got Rocket, and you got Ant-Man, which is the two
Rocket
weaker
went in,
characters.
Yeah,
But
Rocket
when
went
you
in,
look
and
at-
he's like such a minute character. He's probably
He
like,
fucking
and
went in.
he did in the movies. He like showed up and showed out and everything like that. But the biggest homage out of all of these, if you're a comic book reader and everything, the biggest homage, you know, everybody asked for Professor Hulk and all this other good stuff. Professor Hulk was the 90s. Okay?
Yeah. Yep.
And that was like when we were probably like reading comics. That's who he was. It wasn't, I mean, the Grey Hulk was in there and all these other different Hulks were in there, but the Professor Hulk was the Hulk of the 90s. And that's one thing that kind of discouraged me is, a lot of people saying like Hulk didn't come out and smash and everything like that. Well, you know what? You fucking 40-year-olds that came out and wanted to see the Hulk, this was the Hulk that you read in comics if you were a comic book reader back in the 90s.
But even the Professor Hulk in the comics was
stronger
way
than
stronger,
Yeah,
way more powerful,
exactly.
way more badass,
Not than any of the other
shit
ones.
than this little
Not
puppy we got
more
on
than
screen.
any of the other ones. Not more than any of the other
No,
ones.
I mean-
He had less power, but he had more control and everything. And
And
that
truth
was
be
that
told,
was the
you look
Incredible
at
Hulk
Endgame,
during the
you know,
90s.
he has this
And
persona.
those
He
were
says,
our comic
He
books.
goes and grabs the gauntlet. When
Our comic books was
I'm the one.
ones
This is
of the
what I was meant
70s,
for.
the
It's
80s.
gamma radiation, yada yada yada. So he goes and puts the gauntlet on. Do we not remember just 2 movies prior to that? Thor whooped his ass in the arena.
Yeah.
I mean, Thor beat his ass. Like, they put him on screen face to face, and had it not been for Grandmaster coming in and zapping Thor, like, Hulk would have been laid out in the arena right there.
In the last 2 shots.
To me, that tells me
Absolutely.
that.
But I got
Everyone knows and knows with them though.
I
If
wanna
you go back
say
and watch that movie, it
wanna
looks
say
like Hulk gets his ass beat, but
But
he
when
was mashing
when
back
he
and forth.
charges up, though, and he hits him with all that.
I want to say this. And then we're going to move on because we got to get Mike and Danny's.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come back around. Everybody in this room didn't want Professor Hulk. We wanted World Breaker.
Yep.
And what I said on our review on our channel, go back and watch it. People, go down, scroll down, you'll see it. Our in-game preview. I said if they somehow could kill Black Widow in front of this guy, and he looks up and his eyes is glowing green, and he goes World Breaker. Now let me set this scene for you, and then we're going to move on. I'm going to let Mike talk, then you.
Right.
Let me set this scene. When they went back in time, he should have went with her, and then she should have died in front of him, and his eyes should have been glowing green. And when they come out of that time loop, because remember Thanos was flying up ahead because he was laying on the ground.
Right.
Let me tell you something.
That'd been the end of the movie.
Let me tell you what would have happened. This is what would have happened. This is how this would have whole been different, and everybody in America would have been satisfied. He would have brought them motherfuckers back, and he wouldn't even been phased. He'd have threw that fucking gauntlet down, and when that ship flew overhead, he wouldn't give him time to fire. He would have jumped up through the fucking ceiling, went through that goddamn plane, and grabbed fucking Thanos and throw that motherfucker out of the plane, and then it would have been on.
But that would have been the end of the movie, right?
It would have been the end of the movie because he would have brought down his legion of people, and all hell would have broke loose.
Kevin Feige said something that many people miss. He was they're talking about, someone mentioned, why not show World Breaker Hulk? And he asked the question, he goes, do we have any comic book fans here? Of course, everybody's like, yeah. He's like, do they not realize that World Breaker Hulk is 10 times more powerful than Thanos? And
that
wouldn't
have
happened. Crap about any allegiances to anybody.
I don't know if he's 10 times more powerful than
If they
Thanos,
would have brought World Breaker Hulk in, destroyed Thanos, destroyed the ship, now Hulk becomes the enemy.
Yeah, and you will never see Captain America be shown worthy. And that's what a lot of these cats, they
I
didn't
think we're not
realize
giving
what they
enough
were
credit
doing.
to Thanos' army.
Yeah, I mean, the army's cool too.
We seen Scarlet Witch almost kill this
power clap all gone.
We seen Scarlet Witch almost kill
And
it.
she almost did it in.
And she is powerful, but she ain't World Breaker Hulk.
It just got us back in the game.
Okay, so now this brings me to my next point, Mr. Mike King. Mike, I want you to talk about what MCU has done to this point and moving forward. And I want you to start Spider-Man Far From Home and what you think is going to happen, from what we've seen, what we know, as far as movies going forward, and what you want to happen. Take off.
The way I think, man, is you got to take consideration that these movies have came from the page of comic books.
By the way, you got the hardest question so far.
Yeah. So
I'll
without
ask
a
the
doubt.
same question.
So
I mean,
I
I'll
think-
try
I got
to.
something that's going to challenge you.
we came from complete comic book pages to what we've came over decades of building up and storylines, and we're trying to mesh it all together. And they put all these characters, they developed them, and we're getting to see all this on the big screen, which is something we probably all never thought that we would get to from the time that we were children up to this point. And you got to think of people that was before us, what they thought when they were reading just comic book pages, and what they're getting to possibly see now. So, with that being said, I think that the MCU has really built over time. I think we all, like Josh said, all the stories have been developed. We got to see things that we didn't get to see with DC because I love DC, and but we never got to see their characters being developed like we've got to see with the MCU. But
literally, kids has grown up with this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But you think about this, we as
This
kids
is my
though,
baby
the most of us really didn't get to dive into MCU like now. A lot of us really spent a lot of time with with Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman, and we've got to see certain stories, but they never got developed like these characters got, because these characters really got developed over a long period of time.
Right.
But then we get the end game, which is our end game that we were expecting. And like I said in the previous video before, about what we thought it was going to be, we spent too much time in time travel, and they were just too pitiful. Nobody wanted to see broken ass Tony Stark all miserable and pitiful and anorexic like he's going through chemotherapy, and nobody wanted to see fat drunk Thor. Like, that was not the ending we wanted. We wanted to see Thor from the previous movie in Infinity War.
Pissed off.
Yeah, pissed off. We wanted to see Hulk get his revenge, and we didn't get any of that. We got to see fat drunk Thor and weak Professor Hulk.
Not cutting you off. We've got about 45 more seconds.
So I think that we didn't get what we wanted to out of Endgame. With Spider-Man Far From Home,
Talk about Spider-Man Far From Home itself, and then I'm going to let Danny go for it.
I think what we've got with that is we've got a new beginning, which is what they say, Phase 4 is supposed to be. I think we're looking at something that's going to be, a new beginning. We're going to get, God forbid, Captain Marvel. But Spider-Man, we're going to see a lot more of the development of his characters, a lot of his villains that we've grown up seeing. Get a lot more of that storytelling. We get a lot more of these new characters that we're going to get, and even people like Black Panther and people from the older stories and things from before is going to go forward. And I think we're going to get a lot more of the storytelling. I think we're going to get a lot more of Spider-Man and Captain Marvel. I hope it's not too the crazy liberal stuff that they're trying to lean towards, or the storyline that they're trying to say that's going to go forward. But I'm hoping that we get a lot more of what all of us as fans are looking forward to, and get more of the storyline like Spider-Man and Captain Marvel and the villains to kind of build into the future of Marvel.
All right, Danny. Biggest question of them all.
Shoot.
100% going forward.
All right.
Spider-Man Far From Home behind us.
Mm-hmm.
After that,
Yeah.
who carries the mantle? Who gets the butts in seats? What characters are they going to bring out that's going to be something that's going to be shocking to us? And I hate to say this, and you got to cram this on in 2 minutes. When do we introduce the X-Men?
Introduce the X-Men.
All right, 2 minutes, and I want everything
2 minutes.
you got.
Stay calm.
All right, I'm going to stay calm on this. I'm going to go ahead and let you know now.
Last
that-
question first.
No. First question first. If they're smart, they're going to introduce the X-Men straight out of the gates. Not going to happen. But, because if they're smart. I would love for Wolverine to be the antagonist of the next 10 years or whatever, just like, Hugh Jackman. It was a moneymaker. If you're making money, if the ship's not sinking, don't fucking fix it. Okay? But if they're going to make next movie money, it's going to be Gambit and go through that. But, Channing Tatum coming in, he's signed for it, it's happening. He's taking a long break because the next probably 10 years he's going to be playing Venom. For Gambit.
Didn't that go out with the Fox deal?
No, it's on.
I think it's
don't look at him.
I think it's gonna
don't look at him answering that.
I think it went out with the Fox deal.
It's happened. He's got it. He's the next game.
I don't think so.
Y'all figure it out. Okay, y'all figure it out.
Look,
Okay, but I got 2
wait a minute.
minutes.
You got to answer the biggest question. Who's carrying this mantle going
Venom.
forward? Who?
Venom?
Yes,
He's
absolutely.
still with Sony, bro. Like, he can't. There's no way.
No. And this is just my prediction. This is if you're going to be smart with it, because there's other movies coming in for it, and for that to bring it into the MCU and have this anti-hero being huge, I think he's going to be in Far From Home. I think he's going to be in some sort of fashion, in credits or whatever. They're going to bring it all in if they're smart. Because they got a lot of great actors in it. I couldn't stand the freaking movie. I liked it the second time I saw it.
I'm going to pause it for a second.
Yeah, go ahead, pause it.
We're going to pause it
a second. I still got more
for a
time.
second.
Go ahead.
Not taking this away. With
Think
Roland
about
out of the picture, Evans out of the picture, Downey Jr. out of the picture, he's probably the best actor in there, minus Cumberbatch.
Boom.
Minus Cumberbatch.
There you go.
But he's not a true MCU.
Oh, is he not?
He's more of a
It's
side.
Sony.
Is he not?
No, he's a
think
Sony.
about
I
it.
mean, when Sony owned
Spider-Man.
But that's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
That's why he hasn't been in the forefront. That's why in those McDonald's toys over there
Yeah,
you
I'm
don't
telling
see
you.
A Spider-Man one because of the Sony tie.
And who could not stand that movie more than anybody?
Can I have a little piece here? Look.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not going.
I'm not.
going to say this is
You still got your
prediction,
45 more seconds.
and I hope this don't happen. But just based on their history, the only character that they have left that they could build like they built Captain America, or they built Thor, or they built Tony Stark as Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. is Spider-Man. That's the only person.
Spider-Man's got unique villains.
So here's the thing, you know,
Villains got unique
He should
villains.
Let me cannonball back in here.
Cap giving the shield, but no, Falcon and
No.
Winter Soldier, they got
He'll
their own
never
show.
be Chris Evans.
Okay,
Here's the thing.
let me cannonball back into
But
this
look at how
conversation.
young he is.
You're absolutely
so
right.
he's got at least. I mean, if he stays in physically good condition, doesn't get too many injuries.
You talking about Papa Doc?
Yeah, man. Like,
God.
come on.
We're not getting into that. Let me cannonball back on what I'm
Falcon.
saying. Pepper, hold on. Okay, check it out. Who can you make a good franchise out of it and still make freaking money off of? Can you make a good villain movie out of like Doc Octopus or Green Goblin or freaking Falcon and all this other good stuff? But if you bring in if you bring in the Venom and the back end of the MCU like a freaking champ, I'm sorry, it's a business deal. That would be the way to go. That's what I would do. And I'm not a fan of the movie whatsoever.
Time out.
Go ahead.
Pause
Chief.
on everybody. Let me ask Peeves. Peeves will know the answer to this more than anything else. Do they own the full rights now to Venom or no?
No, they don't.
There's
either
no way
in
he's going to
Spider-Man.
carry that. Then.
And they don't in Spider-Man either. They do not own the
There's
rights
no
to
way
Spider-Man.
that they're gonna
They
let somebody
made it a
benchmark
deal.
it.
And they let Spider-Man.
But as a
He's
whole,
not
Have they
benchmarking
not?
nothing. No,
but as a whole, though, once you start to get past Spider-Man,
And
like
they get through the
Venom, right? Let's say
negotiations and
Venom,
stuff.
right?
Think
So
about
let's
it,
go.
fellas.
I'm going to
With,
tell you who it's going to be.
So-
It's going to be Brie Larson and Black Panther.
yeah, but so what do we know about Venom, right? What does the average Joe know about Venom?
He's an
lot of people
he's
go-
an anti-hero. He's completely
But you
like
got-
he
but
can
you got
come in,
Spider-Man
he can
and
be
you got
bad
Carnage,
guy
right?
or good guy. I
You
could
got
not stand
Spider-Man
this
and
movie.
Carnage. When
There's
you
Carnage.
could take a child in kindergarten and say, name me 3 villains of Spider-Man, and he could name off Green Goblin, the Hobgoblin. You could go Doc Ock.
Okay.
You could name off
Right,
numerous
right,
villains,
yeah.
which could carry the entire MCU off of basic Spider-Man villains. Venom, basically, and don't get me wrong, was the ultimate villain of Spider-Man.
Do you think
it's not going to be able to
Woody
go.
Harrelson's going to come
They
in
can go in
and,
30
like,
different directions. With Venom, you can't go 30 different directions. Spider-Man, you can kind of go in some directions.
Just from a money standpoint, there's no way in holy hell the MCU is going to not let a character that they have full rights of lead their brigade. That's not going to happen.
Like, no, I don't. I'm not saying I'm going to let.
My
Venom-
question was,
Okay.
who is going to carry the baton from Cap and Iron Man to the next generation? That's what I want you to answer. Out of the MCU characters,
Out of
you
MCU
said Venom.
characters. No, I'm talking about like bringing it into it. It's going to be like a new introduction.
No,
that was
that's
my
not what I'm
understanding.
talking. That's not
that
what
was
I'm
my
talking.
understanding.
Who's going to carry the baton?
Spider-Man?
They don't have full rights to him still.
And they're still working on that. That's in negotiations, and
They
that's how they
Every
have, like,
time that they put out a movie and it makes money, that price to get the full rights goes up.
Yeah,
In game, it went up.
Yeah.
Far from home, it's going to go up.
And and as far as like Sony goes, they have not had a good storyline. And as far as like these other Spider-Man movies that are coming up now, they see nothing but dollar signs.
Look,
And
there's
it's
only,
a smart way to go.
Shoot, that's good.
there's only 3 choices:
Okay.
Spider-Man, Captain Marvel,
Take Spider-Man out because they don't own the rights. There's
Doctor
no way.
Strange. Doctor Strange could carry
I
the.
think
Doctor
Panther,
Strange's not
dude.
gonna
Y'all are Panther's the dark horse, dude.
I got a point.
Nah.
I want Peeps. Go ahead.
Okay, I mean, the thing is with Spider-Man carrying it, I don't see it because 1, they don't own merchandising rights.
Thank you.
True
story.
Yeah, that's a good point.
2, that will definitely keep them from doing it. And 3, every time, like Bo pointed out, every time a Spider-Man movie comes out and it has success, Sony's still making that money. They don't care. They don't have to put out a good Spider-Man movie.
They don't even have to have the rights.
They sit on those rights and they make money. And guess what? They're producing the merchandise for this Marvel movie. They're making that money.
Peeps, you know what? That is the bet. Peeps is hitting on a point that nobody's hit on. You know what? You know what he's basically saying right here?
No
Let's
sense.
put this into drug terms.
Makes less money off of it.
No. Let's put this into drug terms.
No sense.
Peeps is saying Sony is Pablo Escobar,
Yep.
Exactly. Yes.
right? And
They getting that cut.
every time a new cokehead pops up somewhere, more money to Peeves, and guess what? He don't have to do anything. His hands is clean. Hey, you go advertise for me. I'm going to make millions and billions off of you.
He just
and I don't
completely proved my point.
I don't have to do that.
And everything I just said.
Here's what he did.
Venom's in the
And
same
I'm never
page
right.
that Spider-Man is.
They're
They're
both all right.
in
Now,
the same book.
you got legit. Here's the 3 real choices. Black Panther.
That's a great movie. I don't
Black
know
Panther.
what movie
Brie
it is.
Larson.
No.
Oh God, no.
I'm just telling you.
No.
These are real choices, though.
And
That's Black Panther.
Okay.
Brie Larson, or out of what we know that we have left over. Strange.
Yeah.
Look, we already
See,
know
like
the answer
with
to this
Spider-Man
question.
though, is you gotta look at it like this in the movies as a whole. Captain America, Falcons ain't gonna. He's not gonna carry this.
He's
Nobody
not,
wanted Falcon
they're
in this
talking
anyway.
about TV shows.
So as a whole, we've already had this set up. So
I
you
don't-
got to think.
Sam Wilson's done good in the comics.
Iron Man himself started this.
No.
Not as far as like sales.
Iron Man
Not as far as like
himself,
sales or anything like
as
that.
a whole, has
Not at all.
mentored Spider-Man. And I know it's Sony property and everything, but Iron Man himself started this. Iron Man himself passed the torch to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
As a whole, Captain America's not doing it because he's old and he's done. They played their little
That's
part
the
in that.
scroll. That's not.
So they've actually kind of
That's
passed that off or
It
whatever.
is.
Yeah, but they're turning the
No,
page.
it's not.
And it's not going to be turning
He
the
can't
page the
age
Falcon to carry. It's the Falcon's not carrying it. Winter Soldier, he's going to be the White Wolf or whatever. And
That's
so
what they should have turned
so,
that TV
yeah,
show.
exactly.
Should have turned it.
So now we've got Peter Parker, who's obviously, because Iron Man himself's basically trying to pass the torch down. We've got Venom in one angle. We've got all the different villains of Spider-Man.
Venom's not in the MCU.
Look, can I say something?
Please.
Look,
Please.
we already know the
I'm telling
answer
you, I
to
think
this
it's gonna
question. We already know the answer.
What's the answer?
We don't want to admit it, but we know the answer.
Marvel.
What is Brie Larson's contract?
We don't know because I've heard 12, I've heard
it's
7, I've heard 6.
It's outrageous.
I've heard done. I've
Yeah,
heard
but how
done.
many villains
7.
can you actually name of Black Panther,
Seven.
Captain
How many-
Marvel?
that's what I'm saying.
Can you
Here-
name off all these villains that
She
everybody's going to
set
go
up
to the
for
movies and
7
watch?
movie deal.
Okay,
Can you name all
Josh
the
is
villains that we're gonna
100% correct.
She has a 7-movie deal.
Okay, okay.
Already
Name
created two.
name me a true and what's the word I'm looking for here? A true villain, a true somebody who opposes her in her own storyline.
Nobody, 'cause
The
she's
true
freaking-
Captain Marvel, not Marvel. The true Captain Marvel. Name me a villain.
Thanos.
Who?
Done.
I mean, as far as
Sorry,
like
done.
Captain Marvel goes, she's irrelevant. I mean,
Well,
she's
she really
completely
is.
like
Now,
irrelevant.
let me stop you right there. She can't carry the torch.
No, but
They're not going to let Spider-Man do it
They're
because
gonna
they
put
don't
it on
have.
why not?
Bro, well, here's why, Danny. It's simple math. It's like I'm not going to let Josh own this gas station,
Yeah.
and Josh gets the money for the cokes and the snacks, but you get all the money for the gasoline stolen.
But you said it just like what Peeve says earlier. You know, I mean, they're going to sit back and just
Yeah.
take up the money. So
You know
let
why?
them make the money. Let them
Right.
get the royalties
Here-
and
okay.
not even do it.
we live in a what kind of world right now? Liberal world.
Yep.
Right? So here's what they're going to do. They're going to take one of these lesser characters and they're going to pump them full of lead and make them in the forefront, whether you like it or not, and they're going to ride this wave until it crashes.
Okay.
And when that wave starts crashing, then they're going to introduce the X-Men, and then we got another generation,
Now, I agree
another
with you on
10 or
that.
15
I agree with you
years
on that.
of
Okay. Well,
unbelievable.
Okay, when you buy, hold on,
Hold on,
2 seconds, 2 seconds,
that feeds
just 2
and
seconds, just 2 seconds.
got 2 seconds
There's
and
like,
feeds.
there's like 2 comic books. There's like 3 comic book characters. When you bought like a real comic book, and down at the bottom where it usually has a barcode where you're scanning, what were the 3 comic book characters that are in those barcodes? That in that barcode area in the bottom right hand corner, there was 3 comic book characters that were in all of them. Whether it be like 50, 75, year anniversaries and
Captain
everything.
America.
There was
Captain
Captain
America.
America,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, and
Wolverine.
no,
Hulk.
Iron Man.
No,
Hulk was
no,
in one too.
No,
Nope.
never seen Hulk. No, that's just me. I could
Nope.
be wrong. I could be wrong. But I have
Iron
seen
Man's
Iron
a
Man.
B-rate character, bro.
Oh,
Until the
my
MCU.
God,
He
no.
was. I'm sorry, dude.
No,
Until the
His story's
MCU.
been told. Iron Man's story's
Bro,
been
Iron
told.
Man's a B-rate comic book character until the MCU.
I got a
but
point
those
there.
are the standing points, man.
Let Peeves and then Pepper.
My point I want to make is
Tell them what you got around your neck first.
I've got the Agamemnon.
All right, go ahead.
But
Agamotto.
whatever. But
See what I'm saying? We cannot trust his
He can
judgment.
pronounce it when he's sober. Let him go.
He's got an eye up above the eye, so nobody else has got
There is
Y'all
that.
step up, bitches.
It's Illuminati.
Y'all step
Yeah,
up,
I mean,
bitches.
that is a step up.
Illuminati right here, man.
I'm giving you. Hey, we said we weren't discussing.
Okay,
that.
go ahead.
But what the MCU has done is they have taken B-rate characters and made them A-rate characters because they didn't have the rights to their major players
Great
in the
point.
X-Men, in the Fantastic Four, in
Great
Spider-Man.
point.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Which
Now,
one's
yeah.
a B-rate character?
Iron Man, dude.
Guardians of the Galaxy was not. Dude.
Ronan?
You're welcome.
I mean, we could just start knocking people down as like B-rate characters.
No, absolutely not. I just
This
put
guy
down
ain't
one.
like it, yeah.
Absolutely not. He's been around since the freaking forever.
Not him.
Them two ain't
Hank
carrying.
Pym has. Not Scott Lang.
Yeah.
Ant-Man's been around for forever.
But-
Yeah, but he has he
He's not
carried,
strong enough. to
Scott
carry.
Lang or Hank Pym?
Huh?
has he carried shit?
He's not
No,
carrying
Ant-Man,
damn
period.
thing. Barely carries.
Yeah, he's carried his own comic for like forever.
And a while ago we were
And
having
it wasn't
discussions
good
about
sales.
That comes
I
from
mean, don't get me
actors.
wrong.
Are we just going to act like
Yes.
Jeremy Renner don't exist?
Now, first of all, thank you, Josh, for destroying this because Josh is right on fucking par.
Do I-
as
he's
usual.
not one of
This
my
is
favorites.
the silent
I love
award,
it.
and he's the only one of us that don't drink any alcohol. That is the most underrated character they've used in MCU history. He's never lost a major battle.
How many of them are there?
Hey, let me tell you this. Let me throw this in here. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say this. If they don't have him in this last movie, they lose again.
yeah,
He's a
no
fan
doubt.
favorite. I dig him. I like his character. I wish
When
he
he
would have dug
flipped
into it.
and was with Loki, he took down the whole shit
Yep.
by himself.
Absolutely.
Him and a couple of dudes with a few machine
And a
guns.
freaking bow and arrow and
That
a
guy,
USB
He is
drive.
a savage, dude.
That dude
telling
can
you.
insert a USB drive the correct way.
Dude,
me
he
tell you-
went across
Let's
America
keep-
with
Wait,
it.
let's keep this.
To take down
Let's
everything.
keep this rolling. Let's keep this rolling.
Yeah.
And Civil War broke out, whether y'all like it or movie or not.
Maybe so.
And okay, let's say it did. Let's say it did. Let's say it did.
I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a good movie.
okay,
I watched
hey,
it several
let's say it's
times.
atrocious.
Yeah.
Let's say it's the worst movie you've ever watched.
Captain Marvel.
Time out. Who did they send in? Who did they send in to get Scarlet Witch out? They sent his ass in.
And had
And
she
they-
followed him, he wouldn't have had to do with
They sent
Vision.
in Hawkeye.
Bro, now let's fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
Right? So then you get to the battle.
Right.
And when he meets up with Cap and all them, and then they go out to battle, then you're like, how is this dude gonna play into this battle and shit? And then you find out real quick how, she called him out. Scarlet Witch was like, hey man, you're pulling your punches, bro. But then what did he say? He said one line that made more sense than anybody else in that thing.
Are we still gonna be friends after this?
No. He goes, Cap, let's be honest.
In order for us to win, some of us are going to have to lose.
Yes.
Thank you. You know what he was saying right there? Hey, bro, this cause is for real. I don't give a damn if I got a
Jump on the
family.
wire. Sure, jump on
He's
the
like,
wire.
hey, bro, some of us may have to do it. And he was willing to go down the ship if he had to, dude. That's when I knew that. I was like, that dude, bro, the most underrated character in the MCU.
Who? Hawkeye?
Period.
Absolutely. I mean,
Hawkeye.
and he's like,
But you knocked him down.
huh? Yeah. I mean,
Why
but
would you
out of
do
all
that?
these,
But what we're getting at is they're not gonna carry the
where's
franchise.
his like?
And nobody
leading
said he
comic?
was.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Now, like as far as like Hawkeye goes,
Jeremy
okay,
Renner.
y'all give him all right. But the one
Can you
person
please
that
stand him
Hawkeye-
back up then?
Yeah, I'll show up. If it was Hawkeye, I would. But him and this running shit, fuck that.
Whatever, bro. Roman
Whatever.
was nasty,
I mean, he's
dude.
badass. He's a fucking murderer. But what I'm talking about is when Hawkeye needed to go across the country and stuff. I am about to bring up Wolverine. Who does he go to first? He goes to Wolverine and he
Old Man Logan story.
yeah, he goes across the country blind as hell
Let me
trying to
pause you
save
for a second.
America.
Let me
That's
pause you
how
for a second.
badass he is. He does not mind about going across America by himself.
Let me pause you for a second, because the people who's not catching on to what you're saying has never heard or read and knows anything about Old Man Logan. Do you?
I know a lot about Wolverine.
He's the only motherfucking superhero that was alive at that point, basically.
Yeah, I mean he survived the shit. It wasn't Ronin, it was Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. Now,
Ronin's like
carry on, and then I want Pepper to unleash, because we've been holding him at bay.
I'm telling you,
Are you done yet?
dude, I can go all night, but
All
I
right,
mean,
Pepper,
Pepper,
unleash
I
what
think
you
he was-
So,
And then I got a question
question
for
you
all
asked
of us.
earlier, who carries the torch?
Right.
My first guess is Spider-Man. We say it's going to be Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, because they're a 7-movie deal. However, we already know Just because she's got a 7 movie appearance still doesn't mean she's going to be the front runner. She wasn't the front runner in Endgame. That was one of her 7 movie deals. She appeared in that movie. That was for 15 minutes.
If that, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like Superman and Justice League.
Where'd you
He showed up.
Haircut?
You know, Henry Cavill shows up in Justice League for 11.5 minutes of film.
Yeah.
And gets paid more than anybody in the whole damn movie. You know, that's what Brie Larson's looking for. She's looking for a fat check. She's looking for get my name out there.
Bad
I'm
actress.
a superhero. Yada yada yada. But what I truly feel in my heart is going to be the next push forward for the MCU going into Phase 4.
Nova.
I think Phase
You're right.
5 is going to be where the X-Men comes in. I'm going to say Nova's going to be a part of it.
I'll never watch another Marvel movie again.
You don't respect
Adam
Nova?
Warlock is going to be a
fuck
huge
you.
part of it.
No.
You don't like Nova?
Hold on.
Richard Rodgers is a fucking badass.
Nova's
Nova?
a bad motherfucker, dude.
Nova's badass.
No.
Adam Warlock is going to be a huge part of it. And
Yes.
believe
If
it
they
or
do
not,
it right.
I'm
Yes.
convinced because Kevin Feige said 5 years ago he wishes he'd have got the script for the Fantastic Four before they were done, and they're going to be.
That's confirmed. The Fantastic Four is
I believe
That's where the multiverse is going to come
The
in.
first
I
three,
think that's how
the
the
first
X-Men
3
will be
movies that we see in Phase 4, one of those 3 movies will be a Fantastic Four reboot.
We're going to need a replacement for
Because
Tony Stark.
here's the thing: we're going to need a replacement for Tony Stark. You
Yes.
got Steve Richards.
Yes,
If they
Reed
do him
Richards,
right,
exactly.
They get it.
Reed
Reed
Yes.
Richards, sorry,
We've
yeah.
already got to have a replacement for Tony Stark.
So here's
Sure.
Yeah, if they bring him out, you're right. That's a good
I
point.
promise you.
That's a good
MCU,
point.
Check this out.
the
Yes.
replacement
That
is
needs
the
to
one
happen.
Black
That
Panther
needs
sister.
to work.
we talk about characters coming from the pages.
Yes.
The one character in all of the Marvel movies, like I'm going back before there was MCU,
Yeah, yeah.
that has never been done right is Doom.
I agree with that.
He's
bro.
a
like movie
badass.
wise.
He is like Thanos level badass.
Yes, he's like beyond
Every
Thanos level
movie
badass.
he's been in, both the Fantastic
I'm-
Fours
if-
and the reboot, they punk him down like he's just got a few little powers.
If I had to pick a favorite as far as like villains
say
go, Doom. I'm sorry.
Santa
He's-
Claus visited him, bro.
I've
That's
already
it.
disproven.
We've already been through that, but I'm telling
Santa
you.
Claus come and visited him.
Yeah, and
But the
he'll
thing
solve
is,
it later.
I think the movie when they bring the movie in for
They
Fantastic
need to do
Four,
it right.
I don't think they bring him in as a villain in the movie. I think the Fantastic Four has something else they're dealing with, whether it be anything, you name it.
Side project.
Yeah, side projects, anything that's going to be.
But they gotta keep this liberal mentality
They
on
bring-
Fantastic Four like they had in the last movie.
I think
Oh
they-
yeah, this is a whole nother. This
Yeah,
is
it's
a whole
gotta
They
be
nother
bring
done
genre.
Doom in like they bring Thanos in. Where
I wanna pause you.
Some stuff happens and he's in an end credit scene and you see his eyes glow. He's wearing the mask and you're
Okay.
like, oh shit.
I've got to pause you. I got to pause everybody for a second. The ace in the hole on all of this shit we've talked about all night is going to be there's 2 aces in the hole.
All right.
Warlock, do they do him right?
I think they do.
Warlock could be the next Thanos easily. Easily.
Yes.
Number 2
I
is
don't know.
are they going to fucking make the Surfer?
Oh, that's coming.
Surfer is the baddest. That dude is creme de la creme. Surfer is that guy. He
Yeah.
is that guy that can destroy everything you know about superheroes to this point.
I disagree.
But with the storyline, but the
Check this out.
storyline, but the storyline that's going on
He
right
disagrees.
now. But the storyline that's going on right now, where's his relevance?
You want to tell me Surfer can't destroy anything we know about superheroes?
What's his
Well,
relevance?
the U.S. Army captured it and had him
Don't.
pinned down.
That's
Oh
not the real Silver
god!
Surfer. Let's
In the movie,
Let's
yeah.
just go ahead and say that Lawrence Fishburne
In the
is
movie.
Silver Surfer.
In the movie.
not the-
They
Read
had
the
him
comics,
strapped down.
bro. Read the comics.
They had him
bro.
strapped
Read
down.
the comics, bro.
But like I said though, and you gotta look at like with movies and merchandise as a whole. You know, and Peeves mentioned a lot about it, and Spider-Man might be Sony, and I'm not trying to be a Spider-Man homer here, but you
Yeah,
gotta
I'm
look
not
at
trying
it.
to be
You
a
gotta look at
Spider-Man.
it like a toy and merchandise, T-shirt standpoint, right? You can't sell. Adam Warlock be obviously unbelievable. Silver Surfer definitely one of my favorites, but Spider-Man as a whole is going to sell T-shirts, sell toys, sell merchandise.
Thank you.
You got to look at Fantastic
Yeah.
Four. We've already seen movies of the Fantastic Four. We've seen X-Men. So the Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man are going to be the sellers, right? You got villains that T-shirts, toys. You
Guess
got
what?
you got X-Men T-shirts,
All on the
toys.
rights to the
Because
merchandise.
with
Any of
X-Men
those.
you got unlimited
Yeah.
villains with the
Spider-Man.
X-Men.
Spider-Man, Venom, Carnage.
Yeah, you got
Morbius.
tons of toys, merchandise, T-shirts. You can't sell Captain Marvel's villains on T-shirts. Captain Marvel, you can barely sell a T-shirt with Captain
But
Marvel.
at this point, what's the
Technically,
relevance?
I got
of
points to make
Silver
too.
Surfer?
Villains are
We're
just
all
control,
talking
they
at
can be
once.
anybody.
Yeah,
do
the
this.
scroll just got completely punked
Let's
out
do
of
this.
whole deal.
I want to go Peeps then Josh. Peeps.
My point is, one, right now, we don't have Infinity Stones, so Adam Warlock makes no fucking sense. So, like,
We still have them. They're all put
Yeah,
back
it's
there.
happening, but
Thieves, let me tell you what's going to happen. He's going to come out when they take those atoms. He's going to bring those atoms up into stones again.
that'd be the
revisit.
lamest shit.
But you
ever.
know that's coming. You know it. I know it.
I don't think they're going to revisit the stone.
no.
Listen to me.
I-
The cosmic
I-
cube that Cap has in Secret Empire is going to come into play
I said
eventually.
at the end of the end game, his relevance, just like Silver Surfer's, their
Yeah, and I was
relevance
gonna
is
say, Silver Surfer, he's got
Herald of Galactus. That's
2
it.
points: either being a Herald of Galactus or being a anti-hero, and he's usually an anti-hero when it comes to cosmic level stuff. And
Well, the
Well,
MCU
he's
as
still
a
being the Herald
whole,
of
they're
Galactus.
moving off of Earth into the MC universe.
Now,
So that makes more sense having a surfer who's truly being the herald of going to warn people, hey, Galactus is coming to eat your planet. If you want to leave, if
Let me
you,
throw this at
We're
you.
just going to warn
me
him.
throw
He'll
this at
just
you,
go and
though.
say, hey, this is a good planet. Go
hey,
ahead.
here's the
Stop
funny
by.
thing about this, though.
This planet's not my
Stan
favorite.
Stan Lee's favorite character of all time is Silver
So
Surfer.
surfer. Yep.
Now, it's Josh's
Spider-Man.
turn. Josh has the mic. Josh has got 2 clean minutes. Unload the clip.
All right. We have yet. I've waited to see if anybody would mention it, but I think we can all agree that in the past, ever since MCU started, I think Logan would be in top 5 of all of our movies. Is that correct?
No, I
Whoa,
couldn't
whoa,
stand
whoa,
it.
whoa. Logan the movie?
No.
Oh,
Hell no.
Broke my hell no.
hell no.
Broke my heart, man.
You talking about as a cancer-ridden,
Hell no.
fucking broken down
But
Logan? No.
who was in that movie?
I watched it once.
Professor X,
and I'm
all
not
senile
myself
in the
to watch it.
bed.
X-23, Laura.
That means nothing to some of these guys we got
So
on
was
this table.
X-25. Just saying.
But
That
Clone
means
of
nothing.
Jackman.
Look at this
20
table.
younger
Look at
than
this
So-
table.
Weapons
Please,
Zero.
please put
Yeah.
her against anybody on this table. Anybody. One person. Man on man
Dude,
versus
get up.
anybody.
No. Everybody, they're bullshit.
I'm being
on
serious.
Instagram.
This
Yeah,
is where I
no,
call
no.
people out on their
Nobody here.
statements.
You don't
I'm
think
not
she-
picking on you. Please put her on this table versus any of these characters.
None of them
Any of them.
wouldn't. I feel sorry for her. I'd pray for her right now.
Name me one human being just day to day that's in the middle of Missouri that can name her over anybody on this table.
I'm just saying.
Nah,
To
I'm
me,
just
that's
saying.
Logan is in my top 5.
This is like a liberal specking out stuff and then not backing it up.
I'm telling you.
No, Logan, yes. Anybody else in that movie? The cancer-ridden, broken down ass, old ass Logan.
The movie.
Okay.
was
I can get along with. But what I'm saying is she was pretty good in that movie.
She was
Oh,
good
yeah,
in that
yeah,
movie.
you know,
yes.
in this span.
And I'm saying I don't know how many years ago was that, but she's grown up. I'm saying she could be a possible replacement.
I mean, there's so much before then that needs to be guided up into.
Yeah.
Do they own the rights to all that merchandise now?
what the
X-Men
the
Action.
Fox? Yeah.
Yeah, they own everything X-Men. Everything X-Men, everything Fantastic Four. They
When
own-
Josh gets done, I want to talk for a minute.
But look, if you want to do X-Men right, and I'll say it, I'm a homer. He's my favorite X-Man, but
Yeah,
I think he would be the perfect guy to carry the torch for the X-Men side of things, and that's Gambit.
No doubt. No question.
For this next scene, and that
Gambit
breaks my heart
is,
saying that.
for
Yeah.
me, and I can remember as a kid, he was the definition, he was the epitome of cool.
Yes, and we discussed that.
I don't want to.
I wanna go one step
I got a question for you though, and all you guys.
I
What do
wanna
you
see-
think about X-Men though? Do you recast?
No,
Because I think we've already got it
You have to.
established. I think you
Yeah.
got it
Here's the
reestablished. I
thing.
think you
You
keep
have
what
to
you got.
the only way
recast,
they
bro.
fix
Explain them
it
in.
and make it
I have not
right.
seen one good
And I've said
X-Men
this
movie.
since day one.
What?
The only way to make it
I
right.
have
check
not
this out.
seen one
Dude,
good
they're the
X-Men
best
Do
movie.
you remember?
movies
Hold
to
on.
me.
We got 4 people talking at once.
Do you remember the Uncanny X-Men? The
Yeah.
darker side comics that they made, all the same characters, just they're
Gold and
twisted.
blue team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean they
Yeah.
were like they weren't really good or bad. They were just all
Right.
anti-heroes, so to speak. That's the way they do the X-Men right. They introduced the X-Men like they brought us Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. They show us Wolverine. They show us Gambit. They give us Beast.
Origin stories.
Origin stories for these people and rewrite them in an uncanny way so that they're more rustic and not so cookie cutter You
Well,
know,
the
and
MCU will do that.
they'll bring them together, and then if you want to introduce an older, wiser Professor Xavier, that one that was twisted, you bring him in at the end. It's like, hey guys, but in the Uncanny X-Men, he wasn't even really a leader. He was more of a sidekick.
What about Legion?
I want my McAvoy. No, that was done horrible.
Yeah, I think we've already
was done
established so
horrible,
much
but
of
comic book
X-Men. I don't think you should wash your hands of
That's
that.
Charles Xavier's son.
Because I think the reason why is 'cause
He
we've
is
already
savage.
got like the old X-Men, and we've got Hugh Jackman, who played an unbelievable Wolverine. You're kind of, now we're about to transition from him to another actor.
He's done.
So
Yeah.
he's done, and you've changed over all these X-Men to a younger version of
Needs to be
X-Men, which is
recast,
about to
right?
be the Dark Phoenix. So we're about to start that.
No.
So what do you
No,
do?
that's not
So
right.
you just wash your hand of these new X-Men just to
Time
start
out,
completely over? You're
time
not going
out,
to start over.
Just end that bullshit.
That's the end of their reign.
Yeah, they're done.
That's it, and then they're moving forward.
We've got to recast.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
We don't see
Yeah.
X-Men until Phase 5.
Let me tell you this: they
Well,
should
they'll have to bounce that way out.
I'll
Now,
take
You
that.
can't
$5 years.
you can't just jumpstart that right back up
We
next
might see
year.
an
You
X-Men
can't.
Now-
movie.
They gotta
It
get
won't
the
be X-Men.
externals
Now,
and all these other guys.
here's-
The rest of these
here's-
guys.
if I was in control, if I was Kevin Feige, at the end of Infinity Wars, and I knew we had that deal done, which they did,
No.
instead of that Brie Larson symbol popping up, I would send an X-Men symbol popping up. Because let me
Yeah.
tell you something, just from a theater standpoint,
Dude, that got me 6
let me
and
tell
12.
you something.
That'd
Because
been 6 and
let
12
me tell you
right there.
this,
6
and
and
then
12.
we ain't got to bring in 50 of them. Give me 2 of them. When that X-Men symbol would have popped up and we would have just erased that Captain Marvel, which they had the rights. Now, it would have been bottom of the night to film that.
Telling you.
It would have been bottom of the night to film that one scene. But we would have had to get on our casting and on our horse quick. Let that X-Men symbol pop up.
Yeah.
Because then I would have brought in 2 fucking characters.
Colossus and Negasonic.
Oh my God.
Nope. Neither one of those motherfuckers.
That's not.
It's got to be not.
Want to trade names?
No,
Want to trade names?
No. I would have brought
You make
in.
me cuss
Listen
now,
to this.
Cyclops.
I'd have brought in Magneto, and I would have brought in fucking Wolverine. That's all I would have needed. Let me introduce those 2. Now, just at the end of Infinity Wars, if that would have popped up instead of Brie Larson, they would have people literally jizzed on themselves in that fucking theater.
I told
I've
you
got a-
6 to 12.
I've
Y'all
got a
figure
point.
that out.
They Marvel did not have the rights to use X-Men in their movie until after Dark Phoenix
Yes.
was finished.
Okay.
So it
That's
was
why
not
this is the
able to
last
be done.
bad
Okay.
X-Men
All right,
movie
now,
ever made.
all right, let's say that happened. Okay, I'm 100%. Now, let's go moving forward. Josh is 1,000% correct. Gambit should be the benchmark character moving forward. Here's why. This is where they failed because they put him in one movie for maybe 5 minutes. But anybody who read any X-Men comics or watched any X-Men cartoons, period,
Being played by John Carter.
knows that he was A-list as A-list comes. But here's the beautiful part about him.
Yeah.
What happened to wrestling in the 90s? It was getting stale, it was getting stagnant. They were like, damn, man, this shit's like... And then it was like WCW, good versus evil. WWF, good versus evil. All right, all of a sudden, here comes Steve Austin. He don't like any damn body. He don't trust anybody. He'll beat the fucking bad guy up. He'll beat the fucking good guy up. He'll beat Vince McMahon up. He don't give a shit.
Ref?
That's That's Gambit's character.
What?
He will fucking snap.
What?
What?
He's been with Apocalypse.
What?
He'll get inside
He's
the
been with the
apartment.
X-Men.
What?
What?
He's been solo.
What?
Now, my point is, that is your benchmark character. His storyline
I would
can
like
go
to see
in
that.
any fucking direction.
I would like to see
Why
it.
do you want the same? Like, I love what they did with
Assassin's Thieves,
Wolverine.
the Brutes,
I love what they did with
yeah.
Wolverine. They did it. It's
Yeah,
been done.
it's been done.
We're recasting. We're rebooting.
I agree.
Give me Gambit. Give me as my benchmark character. Look,
I want
they're
Danny
smart. Listen to
DeVito to
this.
play Wolverine.
What year is this? 2019. By 2021 to 2032 should be destroyed by X-Men.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're going to tail in and springboard above what's been done to this point. Gambit is your benchmark character. Gambit needs to be the Wolverine of this generation with MCU and Disney money backing him, because when he starts out as a thief and recruited in by the LeBeau family, then the X-Men come out, and then, you know, start that origin. Start that origin.
I mean, think about
guess what? Hold on, I'm not done yet. Then he gets recruited into the X-Men, and everybody's like, I can see all the kids and everybody across, hey, Gambit, look at him, he's doing so great. And then he fucking snaps and leaves and turns his back on all of them. And fucking goes with Apocalypse and becomes one of the 4 horsemen.
I don't see that happening.
What the fuck ever, bro? It happened in the comic.
Yeah, it happened in the comics, but I don't
over
think that route. I think that
No. We ain't seen the real Apocalypse.
But we don't start. But you know how movies are. We don't revisit.
What are you talking about? That's all they do.
But I tell you
What if they not?
But they would do. But they just done Apocalypse.
No,
That'd be
they
10 years
really,
down the road.
if they want this to continue being like entertaining and continue like building in the money and bringing it in, they need to do exactly what they freaking did with the Avengers and all the characters, and then but do it with the X-Men characters and bring them all together. That's what they need to do.
But
the
here's
highest grossing comic books of all time
X-Men.
was X-Men. Not just it wasn't just regular X-Men. But you were right. It was the Uncanny X-Men. All through like the late 80s
From
and all through the
1986,
90s and shit. I mean,
87,
that's
I
where
think,
it came up.
to
When
like
I showed you like the
94.
Jim Lee versions of all those like 5 different comic books that were like, you know, the number ones and everything. You cats know what I'm talking about. The same number ones with different covers, and you put them together, and they're all their main big
Where's that fan
baddies
base now?
Magneto.
Here's the thing, though. Check
Where's
this
that
out.
fan base now?
It's there.
I can tell you where it's at. It's sitting here begging for what
Oh,
we're
yeah.
talking
But
about.
they're begging for the real X-Men. But
They're begging for
Here's
it.
the thing.
You're
and
right.
all
Giving
I'm
us
saying is-
Wolverine, Fox Wolverine's not the answer.
No, but here's the thing.
Wolverine's-
Talking about X-Men in the comics from like the mid '80s till the early '90s, like from the time I was in junior high all the high school, the X-Men and the Uncanny X-Men were number 1 and number 2 selling comic books for almost 10 years.
Well, not like the Cyclops,
No, I'm just saying, like
Iceman,
the X-Men comics,
they
series,
went away.
The Uncanny X-Men comics, the ones you
Yes.
got every month, there were more of those sold than any other comic book.
Yes, the Uncanny.
Until
Yes.
Todd McFarlane introduced Spawn.
Yeah. No,
And Spawn jumped up to the 3rd spot real quick. But
Todd
X-Men-
McFarlane during that time, he was doing like Spider-Man and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
here's
He
the
was
crazy
building up
part.
Spider-Man during that. That's
Here's the
what
point that I want to make. X-Men
no,
Go ahead.
in the MCU are going to be a tie-in, and even though I've watched the show and it's okay, good, not great, like the way the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a tie-in to the MCU now. Because the X-Men are going to be on Earth. And if you catch the hints in their interviews, they're going Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're not staying on Earth.
So that's going to be like, you know, where the
Guardians of the
Phoenixes
Galaxy.
got involved.
I'm gonna
That's
throw
Guardians of the
that-
Galaxy. That's
I'm gonna
where
throw this in.
that's where Marvel's going to be at. Marvel ain't going to be on Earth fighting for us. She's
I'm
going
gonna-
to be out in the
I'm
universe.
gonna throw this
fighting
in here, man.
Other new characters.
If
that
they
are
got
gonna
the
be introduced.
X-Men out in space fighting, it ain't gonna work.
No, hell no. I mean,
No,
the
that's
whole
how
thing-
that's
look,
that's
they
how
did
the
a
whole
series
Dark
in the
Phoenix
comics.
saga happened.
Yeah.
It's because they go up there, you know, they got to save
But when
somebody.
all the
and then-
scene, the real scenes happen,
That's got to happen.
they're when she turns into the Phoenix, yes. But when the real scenes happen, if she's not on Earth, the movie's not gonna work. If they got her in a Guardian of the Galaxy scenes fighting the whole movie, it's not gonna
Well,
work.
you're going to see that. I mean, you're
You're
going to see
gonna
that
have all
in the
the
next
reactions
week's
from
movie.
all these
I'm
guys.
just
You're gonna have to have
Brie
all of them
Larson's-
gonna play a part.
Brie
Yeah,
Larson's
Fantastic
Captain
Four,
Marvel.
X-Men, but you can't
Dark
focus on
Phoenix.
one person.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
And Guardians damn sure can't carry it because hell, Dave Bautista's about the worst fucking actor I've ever seen in my life.
You get carried
And
by-
hell, you get carried by a tree and a raccoon.
Hold on.
You get carried by a tree and a raccoon.
It's Elias Gamora.
We're like getting way off topic.
All right, we're about to shut this one down. We've been
Yes.
long.
We went very long.
Now, closing thoughts. I want everybody to get 30 seconds.
Shoot.
I want to start with Peeps. Peeps, 30 seconds. Where are we going 10 years from now?
I'm going last.
What's going to happen? 10 years from now, and I mean 30 seconds. 10 years from now, what are we going to look back on and say, I told you blank was going to happen? Go.
10 years from now, I think we'll be looking at a sunk fucking ship. I don't think they stand 2 chances in a blue fucking hell of keeping the MCU alive. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Marvel's gonna take all their properties and fucking run it into the ground And I'm not even joking. And I'm not even being like
Everybody be quiet. Let me finish.
a
God,
bitter
you don't
person.
jack
I,
this.
I think Marvel is
kinda
gonna
like it.
fuck up what they're doing because they're trying to do too much. It's all gonna feel like
10
Endgame
seconds.
again. You're gonna feel like you're on such a grand scale, and you're not gonna get condensed stories. They're gonna fuck it up, and that's my 10 years from now prediction.
Now, Josh, next. Go. 30 seconds.
Yes, they did rush Endgame for a 3-hour movie. It felt rushed, but I think they start back over. I think we start getting origin stories, and I think we start getting the Iron Mans, the Thors, the Captain Americas that we all loved, and I think they bounce back after this.
You think they bounce back from
Endgame.
10 more seconds. Go ahead.
When you as a director have to go on a press tour to explain your movie, it's not good. So, yes, they took a hit with Endgame, but I think they bounced back, and I think they bounced back strong.
One point, Josh. How many fucking origin stories can we get before it just gets
Now with
fucking old?
X-Men, 15 more.
I mean, do we need a fucking origin story for every character? It gets old.
Technically, yes.
The main 3 or 4.
Who wants to go next, or do y'all want me to go next?
Go ahead.
Tell me to go next?
Go next.
30 seconds. Ready? Okay. Now, 10 years from now, what in a perfect world would happen? 10 years from now, we would have an X-Men versus Avengers movie that would kill. But it needs Captain America, it needs Iron Man, it needs everybody in it versus X-Men. Not going to happen. They can't do it. They can't put it together on a negative connotation. On a positive connotation, I do think that they're going to take these X-Men. They're going to fail with what they have going forward, the MCU. What we know right now. The X-Men will save Marvel moving forward in movies. What we know right now with the Brie Larsons, the Black Panthers, all that will fail. I love Doctor Strange. I love Ant-Man. I love... Black Panther's a good character. Brie Larson's not a good character. She's forced. She's spoon-fed. Being honest with you, the MCU as we know it, I agree with Peebs, is going to tank because you don't take out your two best hitters and it not fail. Now, in closing, in a perfect world, X-Men versus Avengers, it's not going to happen. They're going to start failing, and then they're going to bring in the X-Men to save what they have and tail end off of that. Now, Pepper, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off what you said. I agree to a certain extent. That's why I believe we don't see the X-Men for 5 years. I don't say we don't see any of them. We don't see a Wolverine. We don't see a Gambit. We don't see anybody for 5 years. We don't see anybody till Phase 4 is phasing out. Because Phase 4 to me is going to be the, I just got double bogey on this hole and I'm ready to go to the next hole. It's like, it's like,
True.
That's what I'm saying. I want to forget about what just happened. Let's work on this. I think what saves the MCU, talking about origin stories, I think what saves the MCU, honestly, is having just movies. Like, let's not put 22 movies together again into one story. Let's just have an Ant-Man story, or let's just have a Hawkeye story. Let's just have a Iron Man story. We don't have to put them all together. We don't have to have a Justice League or an Avengers. Don't have to. For people to go to the box office and watch movies. Going in with the merchandising standpoint, me personally, I'd love to have a 4-foot tall Galactus in the corner. I'm just saying.
That'd be cool.
Super awesome villain dude. Love him.
10 seconds.
But I'm with you. I think they fail in the end. I think there's going to be 1 out of every 3 movies is going to be wow. The other 2 are going to be like Dark World. There's going to be some stuff in there we like, but then a lot of stuff we don't. But agreeing with what you said, man, like if a director has to go on tour and explain to people, oh, well, this meant this and that meant that, and well, what we meant in that was this, then you didn't tell your story right to start with.
I
So
agree,
like,
100%.
if you really want to apologize to us, rewrite Endgame. Give us the Endgame we should have had in 3 years.
Nah, that's not.
I wish King.
I think what we're going to get, man, is with the MCU and everything with all this, I think that we're going to get, our Spider-Man story. I think it's going to play out some of the villains in that. I think we're going to get the Fantastic Four because that's where a lot of the beginnings of Marvel really started to grow.
Yeah.
I think the X-Men are going to get their storyline. Like he said, I think there's going to be a little bit of delay because there's been so much of the passing of the torch with the X-Men to now, and then they're not just going to just pounce into a whole new group of characters and just say, oh, this is this character, this is Wolverine, this is Cyclops, this is the Phoenix, or Jean Grey. We're not going to see this whole other reimagination of all these different characters, and we're start back over from the get. We're not going to get it. It would just be boring. Nobody wants to start. Nobody wants to continue to start over. So I think we're going to get Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. We're going to get the X-Men. But like we said, I think it's going to die out. I think that we've all enjoyed our run. We've all got each individual character. But after a while, everything in life runs its course. And I think it's going to run its course. And it'll start to slope down and start to die off. And maybe we will get to enjoy individual stories. We'll have certain comic book movies because there'll always be superhero movies that we can enjoy. But it's not going to be this grand of scale. We might get one more run out of that, but it's not going to be another 10, 11-year run. We'll be lucky if we get that. So I'm looking forward to what we have coming up, but I think we'll get our big time. I think our big time players will come in, and I think that's going to be all we get. I think it dies.
I gotta tell in on Mike's point. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, when does superhero fatigue set in?
It's in full effect. Danny?
Well, I think the
30 seconds.
the,
Danny. Give me everything you got.
the superhero, and okay, what I would think if I was like a businessman story writer, that I want to have like a good story that's going to last for like years and years and years. Not do the X-Men, not do the Uncanny X-Men, but do the third X-Men that came inside the 90s. Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, Colossus, the introduction of Gambit and all that other good stuff. Beast in there, and they're like running the show and run with that. The Jim Lee run of X-Men. Now, if they take that and just throw it back in there and not necessarily like stretch it out, but not necessarily have like origin stories, go with it was like them against Magneto having like the asteroid M up in space, or going all the way down to the freaking Phoenix story's been told 50 times, actually twice in cinematics.
Mr. Sinister.
Mr. Sinister and piece of shit. But I mean, just saying. But I mean, there's no sense in it. I mean, there really isn't at this point. I mean, but it can come. He's a great character. I love him. But he only has like an obsession with like Cyclops and Jean Grey.
He's like a good anti-villain.
He can be a good stand-in. Or
3 seconds.
But what I'm saying is take that Jim Lee story, run with it, and introduce like the real freaking Magneto instead of all this other bullshit, and just take it from there.
Guys, please let us know. This is a very long video, but please let us know what you want to see moving forward with MCU and X-Men. Please let us know what your thoughts are to this point, what you have seen. And as always, please like and subscribe to our channel. We love every one of you, and we always welcome your comments. We always wake up first thing in the morning. Josh and I both tag team the responses and try to hit you all back. With that being said, this is a Real and a Beer MCU discussion now and moving forward. We are out.
Guys, we forgot War Machine might could carry this.
Oh my God!
Yes!
On his 2 broke legs.